Empire. Who had actually the power? Actually, the system was like a reverse pyramid, as you can see here. A reverse pyramid because all the power was in the consuls, which mean the monarchical branch of the Roman government in the Roman Republic, and less power was with the democratic branch of the Roman government in the Roman Republic. So wealthy people had the power, and the poor people here had less power back then. The emperor, of course, was the absolute ruler, which means that no one could question his decision. So he was head of the Senate, and therefore he controlled the government. Senate was a kind of parliament back then. He was head of the army, so he was like a general. All soldiers swore an oath of loyalty to him. And he was also head of the church. He was called the Pontifex Maximus in Latin, which means great priest. And therefore, he was head of the Roman religion too. So in practice, a bad emperor could push people too far. And some emperors struggled to control the empire, and there were many rebellions and plots. Some of them were really inspiring for their people. Senators were supposed to be elected, but they always came from the same aristocratic families, and so the elections were not so clear. So senators also held all the most important government jobs. So in theory, the Senate was a kind of parliament, but in practice, all it did was agree to the emperor's laws. And the provinces, so the provinces safely within the Roman Empire were run by a governor who was usually a senator. However, provinces on the borders, such as Britain or Greece or Portugal, where the legions were stationed and the wars took place, were always run by an army general. So it was a military man who ran the states, the provinces on the borders. So in order to control the army and to be there for war or for any attack from the enemies. So let's take a look at the rulers of the Roman Empire, the emperors. So lots of emperors, of course, but some of them remained in history for different reasons. First of all, Julius Caesar, I think all of you know Julius Caesar, was not actually an emperor, but he was appointed as a perpetual dictator. Perpetual means constant, eternal, which meant that he alone had control because he was a dictator. And he was assassinated in the Senate by people trying to stop him becoming emperor. So he had a tragic end. Oh, of course, Augustus, who was, remember that he was the first emperor of the Roman Empire. He took control of the empire by defeating Antony and Cleopatra. Do you know who Cleopatra was? Can someone tell me who Cleopatra was?
I think she was a princess.
Okay, nice try. Do you know where did she?
In Greece.
Live? Oh, no, quite close. In Egypt. In Egypt, although she was Greek. You were right. She was Greek, although she was an Egyptian queen, but she was actually the last Greek queen. So she was the last Greek queen from the descendants of Alexander the Great, and we must not say by mistake that she was Egyptian. She was Greek, but she was queen of Egypt, because after Alexander the Great conquered Egypt, his descendants put Cleopatra as a queen of Egypt. So Augustus became the first emperor after he conquered Spain and land in North Africa. So next we have Tiberius, very nice, well-known emperor. Caligula, who was a little bit of a crazy guy. Claudius, who was the guy who conquered Britain, and he arrived till the borders of Scotland. Then it was Nero, another crazy guy, that he is remembered for setting Rome on fire because he wanted to see her burning. What a crazy guy. Titus, who completed this nice theater here known as the Colosseum. I'm sure that everybody knows it, I believe. Do we have an Italian guy among us? Somebody from Italy?
No, I am from Lithuania.
Okay, so nobody from Italy. Anyway, the Colosseum is in Rome, and it's a great, great, great theater that it remains like this today. Now, let's see those 5 guys. Most of the emperors back then committed either suicide or they were killed. Not very, very difficult times for emperors back then. There's always those 5 good emperors, Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, Antoninus Pius, and Marcus Aurelius, who were very, very well known because during the century that they were emperors, I mean from 96 to 180, again AD, sorry, the empire was at peace and grew to its greatest extent. So historians such as Edward Gibbon, 1776, represented this period as a golden age of the Roman Empire before its decline and fall. So every empire has a golden age, which means a peak that grows before the fall. So you must remember that. Yes, you wanted to ask something? Any question?